And we are live back with another episode of Armstrong Avenue here with Scott Armstrong. I'm Big Mike. What's going on, brother?
Big Mike, what's happening, man? Another episode. Who would have thunk it? I'm telling you, we
Man,
are blessed, truly
yes,
blessed.
yeah, having fun, living the dream.
As they say, living the dream. And I'm happy to listen. Every morning I open my eyes, I'm happy about that part.
Yeah,
So it's a good day. It is a good day.
for sure. I told my wife the other day. I was like, a year ago, I started my wrestling podcast, the crappy one that I started and taught. Started with nothing, a $30 Amazon microphone, and no knowledge. Like I had nothing. I had no idea what I was doing. And now I've got people who call me every day. Hey man, how can I get into podcasting? What equipment can I use? Can you come show me how to set it up? Because
Hey, man, that's how it works, right?
and,
It really is.
and then
It's
here
awesome.
I am. Here I
Yeah,
am with you, and we've got a great podcast. We've got people who follow us religiously. I get people
yeah.
who add me on Facebook every day. Hey man, I listen to your podcast. I'm so excited. What do you got coming? When's the next one drop? And now I tell them every Sunday morning, baby.
Yeah, well, I actually went out to dinner last night with my in-laws, and they said, Scott, we cannot believe one of our friends called us and said that they listened to your podcast. It's a man. He listens to your podcast all the time, and so, hey, girl, hold on, dude, live on camera, first time ever. My wife.
Hey,
Hey, that's Mike.
Hey, Mike. How are you?
hey.
Hey, everybody, this is my wife.
Hey,
Um,
everybody.
so, baby, hey, well, wait a minute, come back. Tell them who your favorite wrestler is.
All-time favorite, Triple H.
Get up, girl. Dang, do me like that. Do me like, and stay out and never come back. Wow, man. Do me like that live on our podcast. Unbelievable. Unreal.
You should have asked who her favorite referee was. You should-
Yeah. What I should have said is, who's your favorite podcast host? She would have said you, because you're the only one she knows of.
Oh,
But
that would have been a huge
you would
pop.
have done better than me. Can you believe that, man? That's how we start our podcast. Unreal. Unreal. I'm lower than the dog, and we don't even have a dog.
I tried to bring. Speaking of dog,
Yeah. Yeah.
I tried to bring a new dog home yesterday, and my wife told me I'd have to find somewhere else to live.
Well, okay, but I'm taking this dog with me.
I know, right? We have three, and I'm a dog lover. I can't help it. It's just like some. And then I found a little puppy, literally this big, stuck in the woods.
Oh,
Like somebody
wow.
left him out, and
Oh,
luckily we found a good home to send it to. But
oh, good, good.
she
Good.
almost came home with me.
Still a happy ending.
Yep.
That's a positive.
Yep.
That is a
So
positive. Awesome. I'm
I don't know
glad to hear.
how they always. I end up finding rescue dogs. I don't know. It just happens.
Yeah.
But that was funny, man. I'm still cracking up about that, trying to catch my breath from laughing.
That girl. I swear, 35. We're 35 years, man. We've been married, and I've only wanted to headbutt her for about 34 years. So there you go.
That first year was good.
Yeah, yeah. I haven't
4 years
just so you know, Mike, I have not won a fight yet. I haven't won a fight, and I don't know where any of my money is. She's a magician too. She makes my money disappear. So there you go.
Oh man, I am really good at making money disappear. My wife hates it. She cannot stand for me to go anywhere or be in town because I'll just come back home and it's like, how did you spend $300? Well,
Yeah,
if you really want to know,
yeah. Well, hey, it's best not to ask, right?
that's right.
I'll never forget a long time ago. William Regal. I mean, literally one of my best friends. I love that dude, and he said on Twitter at Real King Regal. He said, I was saying, man, I was just complaining and being a whiner, and he said, well, let me ask you something, mate. Are your bills paid? And I said, well, yeah. Are you happy at home? And I said, well, yeah. And he went, is there really anything else? And I said, dude, that's why I love you. You totally get it. And he was right. You know what I mean? I think about that conversation a lot because, some days you get inside your own head, which with a lot of people like me, there's a horrible place to be. And you just go, Man, I think about that conversation and go, wow, that was such a quick little conversation, a few sentences, and so meaningful to me. But anyway, happy Sunday.
That's right. That is
Yeah, my
right.
day started off with my wife dissing the crud out of me and then walking out the door. uh,
Hey, my wife took the kids to the fair today, and I got to
Hey,
stay.
all right. Where do they have the fair? I
So
mean, I know you live in Molina, right?
yep. So we
Eh,
have two. Georgia has two state fairs. They have
Oh,
the Georgia State Fair, which is in Atlanta. Which not okay. So it's at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. But if anybody's
yeah,
not familiar with the Atlanta Motor Speedway, it's not in
yeah,
Atlanta. It's about 40 minutes south of Atlanta,
yeah.
down Highway 19 in Hampton, Georgia. And then the one that I love to go to, the one that I've been going to for years, is in Perry, Georgia, at
Oh,
the
yeah. I know where Perry is.
yep. And they have, man, as soon as you walk down it's just from right to left
Yeah. That-
barbecue
oh,
and turkey
heaven.
legs,
That's heaven. Yeah,
dude.
we last year we went to the Florida State Fair in Tampa, and we had never been to an actual state fair. Our
Mhm.
little Pensacola Fair, the Northwest Florida Interstate,
Yeah,
whatever it's called. And there's about four lanes you walk up and down, and with stuff on each side. We went to that Florida State Fair in Tampa, and dude, I'm telling you, we'd have to stop every 15 minutes for me to go to the oxygen tent and get oxygen. That
that
thing
much
was
of a walk.
huge. It was huge, and my wife already said, "Hey, can we go back?" And I said, "No, we cannot." Number one, I blew up really bad, and number two, we spent a bunch of money. So
That's
we'll
that's
stay
the
with our
quickest.
little Pensacola fair.
That's the easiest
Uh,
thing to do is spend money because especially for
amen.
me, my
Amen.
kids, they want to ride everything, so it's
Yeah.
$25 more for the unlimited ride wristband.
Well,
So,
hey, dude, that's going to the fair. It's like
yep,
going on vacation. You go, huh? Can we get a coupon? Can we save $1? And then you just realize it's vacation. It's what
yeah,
you do. You go and you spend money, and then you come home and say, we don't have a dime, but you had a week of a good time. You know what
yep.
I mean?
Yep, that's the best part. We save all year for our vacations, so
Yeah,
so
we
because
that's what we do.
there's nothing worse than going down there and have to go. Okay, well we've got $20 to do here, we got $20 to do this, and have to be
Right?
penny pinching. It's
Yeah,
like you know what? Let's go down there with this amount of money and not
yeah,
give a damn
yeah. Let's
what we
live.
spend.
Yeah, let's live. Let's live. That's
Let's
true,
eat
man.
like kings and
Let's
queens.
Amen. And drink Bones coffee and buy t-shirts from Collar and
That's
Elbow.
right. That's right. Drink the Bones coffee. That's
Amen.
I had my cup this morning. Got myself a biscuit. Came home, fixed me a cup of coffee. Sat down, made a tweet, said, "Hey everybody, going to record today." Hashtag Ask Scott, and
Yeah.
finished my coffee. And then I looked at I looked at Collar and Elbow, and there's still not an Armstrong Avenue T-shirt. I'm waiting.
I
People
have
are tweeting.
I have full faith it's coming. There's no doubt about it. Well, I'm going to put the positive vibes out there in the universe. Collar and Elbow.
Yep.
Big Armstrong Pod t-shirt.
You know, people are in an uproar about it on Twitter, man. I'm seeing it everywhere. People are like, "When are we going to get the Armstrong?" They're tagging Collar and Elbow, and every
I
time I
love
see
it.
it, I pop. It pops me every time.
Hey, I love it, man. That's awesome. That's awesome.
so
Yeah, my
so
wife. I woke up this morning and she had the Keurig going with the s'mores Bones coffee, and I love walking into the room and that smell all over the house. It's awesome. So Bones, thank you for giving all our listeners 15% off. Appreciate
yep.
that too. Collar and Elbow, that code Armstrong with 10% off. Looking forward to the t-shirt that yeah, you can look up top of the screen if you're watching us and see the Bones and Collar and Elbow. Use code Armstrong, and really appreciate having those two sponsors along for the ride with you and I on this journey, man. It's I'm not even sure what episode this is, but I'm thankful we're doing another one.
I
And
think it's 18.
18, wow. Hey, so I had a question for you, Mike.
Oh
Is
Lord.
our one listener in Cambodia, is he still downloading and listening?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Every episode. Yeah.
My guy. He should get the first Collar and Elbow t-shirt.
Yeah.
but when it comes to the postage and handling going to Cambodia, Mike, I'm gonna need you to pay that. I
I'm
don't
gonna
know
be
what that.
calling. I'm
I
gonna
don't
be
know what
calling
that.
somebody.
I don't know what that cost, man. That's unreal. But hey, I appreciate that person listening and downloading. I really do. That's awesome.
Yep, I do too. I appreciate it. It's great, man. I love getting the feedback from people across the world.
Yeah.
It's insane to me that people want to listen to us.
And so,
Mainly you, but
well, no, I'm just full of it. But I wanted to thank you too. You sent me this week. You sent me a picture of a what was that? My
you
dad's.
talking about the Tennessee State license application,
Yes. So back in the day, and I think in some states you still have to get
Alabama and
you
the
have still have
Carolinas.
to get a
Yeah.
license, yeah, to wrestle in that state. But back in those days when my dad, the date on it was 1976, and it was the legit. I don't know where you found that. I was going to ask you, where did you find that picture?
Dude. So I'm in these groups on Facebook, the fans of Bullet Bob Armstrong, the
Uh-huh.
Southeastern Continental Wrestling fans, and there's a couple other ones and people post things all the time
Well,
of
it
your
was my
family, your dad,
it was
and I,
literally my dad's wrestling license and it was the application for the license. It was his real name. It was our home address when I was in the ninth grade. So 200 years ago, it was literally his signature at the bottom. His legit. I mean, when I saw the handwriting, I went, "Oh my gosh, this is the real deal." The best part of all of it was the person that signed off on it at the bottom was Christine Jarrett. Christine Jarrett was Jeff Jarrett's grandmother.
oh
And
wow,
she's the person who had signed off on the bottom. The Jarrett family is
hmm
deep in wrestling history, and especially in Tennessee. And Jerry Jarrett, Jeff's dad, was wrestler and promoter. And so when I showed my family, my kids are 30 and 28. And when I showed them, they went, "Oh, that's so cool. Granddad's." I said, "Yeah, I was in the ninth grade." We talked about it a little bit. And so then after we talked about it, my wife looked at it and said, "Well, who's the lady at the bottom that says Christine Jarrett?" And she said, "Is that any relation?" And if you don't know, you don't know. And I told her, I said, that's that. I said that to me is what that makes the whole look. Was it cool to see my dad's wrestling license from 1976? Heck yes, it was. Was it really cool to see Christine Jarrett signed at the very bottom of it? Man, it made the whole thing. Yeah, so I just wanted to thank you in front of everybody, dude. That's something that means something to me. I'm the guy. I don't need the nice the nice bottle of cologne wrapped in a pretty package. Thank you. I appreciate it. I'll use it. It's nice. But for my kids to handwrite something, or my grandson to handwrite something and hand to me, the older you get, the more you realize those are the things that
yeah.
really mean something to you. So when you sent that to me, dude, thank you. That meant something to me, man. It really did. It meant a lot to me. And so I just want to say thanks. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, man. Anytime I see something that it pops up, I'm like, man, I think Scott would like that. I
Yeah.
shoot it over to you because I'm like, you don't get on Facebook, and,
No,
and
no,
I don't know where these people find this stuff. I have
I
no
don't either,
idea.
but thank
I,
God they do. I
I think
appreciate
I think they
it.
scour the internets all
Yes.
day and they'll find things because I'll see pictures and videos, matches.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's, it is
You're right.
entirely wild the things that people post on there that I'm like, where did you even get this?
Yeah.
And
Hey,
and then I get to use some of it for the upcoming IWN TV show, The Lost Territories.
oh yeah, dude, that's going to be a lot of fun, man. I'm looking forward. I know I'm coming at the end of this month to do tape some episodes, and I'm really looking forward to that,
Oh
man.
man,
Number one, looking forward to just sitting down with my action Mike Jackson and shooting the breeze and having some laughs, and
yeah,
but really looking forward to watching some of those old matches and just reliving my youth, so to speak. I
yeah,
really am, and I want to say thanks too, because I know. Look, anybody listening to this, we've said it before, but I will go ahead and reiterate. Um, Mike does all the work. He does everything with the screen that you're looking at. He does it all. He does all the work. And then we come on here and start talking. And so I know at the bottom of the screen, I just noticed it says email bookscottarmstrong@gmail.com. And so I looked at that and it hit me. I got a call this week from Diamond Championship Wrestling in Mobile, Alabama. They actually have a show October 29th, the same night as our show in Thomaston at the Thomaston Civic Center. But they also have a show in Mobile. And they called me and said, hey, can you work with us in December? And I went, well, how'd you find out about this? And then they told me, well, your podcast. And I went, oh, dude, thank you, man. So it's like the third booking that I've gotten because of our podcast. And I just want to say thanks for that too, dude. It's I mean, I can't quit this. You know what I mean? To go do another job, I guess I could still do it. I guess I could still work at the drive-through window or at Amazon or whatever. But I love wrestling. I do, and it's fun. And as long as that old broad that just left a little while ago will still let me do it, I still want to do it. You know what I mean? So it's fun to still go and look, salt of the earth, dude. The indies, salt of the earth. So I'll get to see, Thomaston. You get to see new people that aren't I don't work with every day. So I get to watch their matches and see, and they'll come and ask me, hey, did you see anything? That's fun to me, man, because you're helping the future of wrestling, whether you think it's big or not. It is. And so to go to this like Diamond Championship Wrestling, and then like the Rome, Georgia thing, which is October 22nd in Rome, Georgia. Looking forward to the signing and then the show that night and getting to see. So I appreciate the people that are listening to the podcast or watching it on the IWN app. And I know we say download that app all the time. Can't stress it enough. And honestly, Mike, the guy that I spoke with at Diamond Championship Wrestling, I think he'd be interested in talking to you about getting his show on the IWN app. So,
well, I may have to ride down to Mobile when you run that show. Look, so I love traveling, and that's something I found working in this. I just got back from a three-night trip in Dothan, just getting things ready for our big show in February.
Awesome.
Meeting people, and I took Big Rob Weathers with me.
Yeah.
and Rob was like, man, I'm not cut out for this, because he couldn't. He's like, I missed my bed. I was like, but he looked at me and he's like, I have never seen somebody sleep as much as you do. He's like, we come back to the hotel and before 8 o'clock, I'm out. He's like, how do you do it? I said, well, at home, buddy, I got kids laying in the bed. I got dogs laying on top of me. And you got to also remember, for 7 years, I slept in a fire department that had a twin size mattress that was built like a brick. I can sleep on anything.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny.
But I'll drive down to Mobile for that show. Meet.
Well, hey, wait. The Dothan thing. Please tell me y'all ate at Dobbs Barbecue.
So their hours are so weird. I tried to eat it for dinner and they weren't open. So
what?
I went by that. Yeah, it was weird. It was like 6:30 and they were closed.
Well, that's the craziest thing I ever heard.
I'm gonna try to catch them for lunch next time I go down there, because I was gonna eat them for lunch. So Monday was Columbus Day; they were closed.
Wow.
Tuesday we had a lunch meeting with people, and we ate at a place called Firestone. Really good. I had shrimp and crab stuffed ravioli, and that was a little bougie for Big Mike. I'm used to barbecue ribs and stuffed crust pizza.
I'm a Big Mac and large fry guy.
When the people I met with said, hey, will you meet us for lunch at this restaurant? I said, yeah, that's fine, and I didn't think nothing of it. I looked it up and it had pizza on there. I was like, oh, cool, a pizza joint. I love pizza. I get there and open up the menu, and it's like five cheese, shrimp and crab stuffed ravioli and all this fine wine and stuff. And I was like, I've never eaten in somewhere like this. I feel out of place. because the day before I was eating at CC's Pizza, all you can eat buffet.
All you can eat, baby. Bring it to me.
But I'm gonna try to catch it next time. Dwayne and I are gonna make another trip down. We got to finish up some meetings and close some things out. But I went down there and met with a bunch of people. Man, the people down there are really excited about what we're bringing and who we're bringing, what we're gonna do, and I can't wait, man. We've already got some people who want to hop on board and come out and support us.
Good,
so.
Good deal. It's. I know people listening probably go, "You went to Dothan for a show in February," but that's what it takes, to truly advertise an event, whether it be wrestling or rodeo. You got to get out there and let you have to make a whole lot of contacts on the ground first, and then bring it to the public's view. And so I know that's what you went and did, and man, that's the work part of it. As a fan, you go pay a ticket and see the show, and it all happens in one day. And but as a promoter, it's months of work. And so hats off for what you guys did, man. That's awesome. I look forward to coming to Dothan and eating Dobbs barbecue, and hopefully they'll be open.
And
I can be like a pig.
I want to try it. You told me it was good. I've been wanting to try it. We went to a place for right next to our hotel called the Crazy Monkey Bar and Grill. And we went there.
I love the name.
We went there for dinner, and just because it was later that evening and we'd been out working, we went there for dinner. And I wanted to play some pool. I love playing pool. I suck at it, but I love playing pool. So me and Rob would get there. Rob, of course, he quit about halfway through. He said, "My ego can only take so much."
I love it.
But this one of the waitresses come out, and she was like, "Oh, y'all are bringing wrestling to town?" I was like, "Yeah." She goes,
"Wrestling, I love it."
Yeah. She goes, "You see this scar right here on my head?" It was about this long, right on the side of her head. She said, "Honky Tonk Man gave me that scar," and I said, "I don't want to know anything else."
What in the world? It must have been his first wife. Hey, thank you very much. I'll be here all day. That was a joke. Just a quick jab. I love Honky Tonk Man. He's the best.
When she started talking and she was telling me about who she used to hang out with, and that scar came from Honky Tonk Man, and I was like, I don't need to know anymore.
No more.
I don't want to know anything else. I will move on from here. But she was like, "I can't wait. I'm gonna be at the show." I was like, "Oh God." I said, "Honky Tonk Man won't be there." But
yeah, thank goodness. I'm just kidding, man. Hey, look, he's a welcome addition on any show I'm on. I love that dude.
Yep,
I do.
But hey, we've had some great questions pop up for the hashtag Ask Scott. And I got hit with one from a friend of mine, texted it to me. He said, "Dude, I love listening to your podcast, but can you ask Scott this question?" It's my buddy Ryan, huge wrestling fan. He said, "Hey, dude, can you ask Scott what are his top 3 favorite matches he's ever wrestled?"
Oh, wow. So I can tell you. Look, I don't want to put them in order because they're all, I guess they would be super important to me. Jim Cornette was the manager for Dory and Terry Funk. And my dad was on the outside as our manager for me and my brother Steve. And we wrestled in Knoxville Coliseum. And look, Dory and Terry Funk were just, I think we might have talked about this on an earlier episode, but they were like idols to my brothers and I, because they were brothers. Dory and Terry, they were brothers, and they were both world champions at different stages in their career. And so to say we idolized them is an understatement. We did. And so to be in the ring with those guys, man, I mean, in any young guy's career, a dream come true. And it definitely was for my brother Steve and I'll never forget. I think I may have told the story before too. I was so nervous. And we were about to walk out, and my dad noticed that I was, really warming up and really trying to get my head wrapped around. Because look, I don't know anybody that's listening. If you ever watch Dory Funk throw an uppercut, they were in there, and so there wasn't. You didn't whine about, oh, hey, you caught me with that. That was a little snug, man. Come on, you took them, and he threw a lot of them, and so I was really getting warmed up to go to battle, and so and Terry, you don't know if you're going to get hit with a left in the forehead as hard as he can throw one, or a headlock that will literally almost put you to sleep. He was just all over the place, and so I'm getting really. And my dad goes, "Hey boy, you good?" And I said, "Yes, sir." And he went, "No, I mean, you okay with this? I mean, you look like you're a little getting ready a little more than normal." And I started laughing, and I said, "I don't know, I'm just nervous." And he said, "You're nervous?" And because I'd been wrestling, I don't know, 10 years at the time, maybe longer, I don't know, a while. And he said, you're nervous? And I said, "Dad, it's Dory and Terry Funk." And he started laughing, and he went, "Hey, guess what? They're just wrestlers like us." And I said, I know. And he goes, "And guess what else? They're just brothers like you and Steve." And Steve started laughing. And I said, "Yeah, I know you're right, Dad." I said, "But I've got it in my head that they're Dory and Terry Funk that I've watched as a child. I watched their dad, Dory Sr. And so, 'cause I was a little older than my other brothers. So I loved wrestling growing up. They were into baseball, or, Brad played baseball and football, and they weren't into wrestling like I really watched it and loved it. And so, don't get me wrong, they loved wrestling, but I just worshiped it. I thought it was the best thing ever. And so I really idolized those two guys. And so when we got in the ring and had that match, I'll never forget getting in the ring, and Knoxville Coliseum was slammed. I mean, there was so many people there. And I remember getting in the ring and just looking down, and there's my dad, and then looking across the ring, and there's Dory and Terry Funk. And I look down, and there's Jim Cornette. And I look over, and there's my tag team partner, who was my own brother. And dude, I think about that now, and literally the question is a great question, because that is like the pinnacle of look, probably not the pinnacle of my career, but in my heart, in my mind, wow, man, could I have done anything better? I mean, look, also in Knoxville, I won the world junior heavyweight title, and that was huge. That's another moment in my career that I was really proud to be a part of. That a wrestling company thought enough of me that I would be their champion and represent the company, and so that was huge to me, and it meant a lot to me. But the wrestling fan in me, the mark in me, the whatever you want to call it, the ego in me, man, that tag match with those guys, huge. Now look, you sent me a card, Mike, not that long ago, that and it had to have been from the early 80s, and it said I think it said Bob, Brad, and Scott Armstrong versus the Midnight Express. And dude, you think about stuff like that, and you go, wow, man, how fortunate was I to be in the ring to be one of the 6 guys. I should say 7, because our referees back then were on their game, and good referees. And I think about being in that situation. And at that time in my career, I was super young. I mean, 22 or 3, and I didn't know which way was up. And look, you get on Twitter today, and there'll be some 22 and 3-year-olds that have never wrestled that can tell you exactly how it's all supposed to be. And those guys are totally full of crap. Because there I stood in the middle of all that talent going, oh my God. I'm talking about nervous. Dude, that's nervous. But I was fortunate to be able to stand on the apron and just watch Brad and watch my dad and watch Dennis Condrey and you know what I mean? And see the OG Midnight Express do their thing and go, wow, man, I'm a lucky dude to be standing right here. So those moments and those matches are huge. I just think the one with the Funks and my brother and my dad, and that was huge. I remember with Brad winning the Southeastern Tag Team Championships from Arn Anderson and Jerry Stubbs, and at that time in the South, there was not a better tag team than those two dudes, and so it was a big moment in my career because they were great athletes, number one, great in-ring performers, number two, and to be able to be in that mix and be a part of that, huge, man, just huge. And so a lot of moments of wrestling that I look back on and go, man, that was fun, and that was fun to be a part of. But Dory and Terry, and that's the biggest moment. Is there a top three? Dude, there's a top 100. You know what I'm saying? And so we could talk about it all day, but it's just that's the one that just stands out more than any of them, and was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Well, let's take it one step further. Now that we've done that, Ryan asked that question. I was like, you know what? Let me ask this one. You had a great wrestling career, but then followed up by an amazing career being an official, a referee, and then producing, of course. What would be some of your top maybe 3 or so matches that you've refereed in your career?
Oh, wow. Wow, man. Top 3. Look, Mike, I know you never wrestled, so I feel like most of our listeners never wrestled. So I will explain it this way. There are matches that you are a part of that you are truly a part of. Like, you are involved in the match. You are figured in as a referee in the match. And so you are a part of the story of the match. I hope that is not so stupid simple, but it's kind of hard to explain. There are other matches that you referee where, look, I mean, I refereed Jeff Hardy against Edge, and those two dudes tore the house down, and they did not need me. Any referee, all you had to do is stand back and watch on a match that was so amazing, and not just one. We did it. We had that match or multiple matches on live events that were never televised. They had those matches on pay-per-views. And so those kind of matches are, look, I remember that match because it was awesome. I remember when ECW first started, I can remember Mike Knox versus CM Punk, and us being in like Schenectady, New York, in front of 400 people and in a huge building, but a 400 paid customers. That Mike Knox, I was the referee, and Mike Knox and CM Punk went out there and put on a clinic. I can remember and coming back after about 20 minutes in the ring, sweating and going, "Ma, that felt good, man." You know what I mean? You literally enjoyed that match. And that's a match that they were both kind of young and getting started at the time. I was an older dude. I'd wrestled for 20 something years. So it was cool for me to become a part of that match and feel it. And Same thing with Edge and Jeff Hardy, and you just, there are matches like that. So when you're refereeing, you are a part of that. You feel the part of the match, and you work your ass off to make, because you're working towards the goal of taking the viewer or the person in the audience on a ride. Look, they come into the arena, they don't want to think about the power bill and the car note and the house payment. No, they don't want to think about that. They came to have a good time, yell, scream, and watch wrestling. And so, as a referee, a lot of referees lose focus on that, and that's a shame, because they can be a part of something that's really, really fun, and to help people forget their problems. That's a blessing, man. That's the way I see it anyway. And so, I was able to be a part of a lot of those matches. Look, WrestleMania 27, you referee Undertaker and Triple H. I mean, I just ask you, Mike, I'd ask the listener or the viewer of this podcast, can you get any higher than that? You know what I
Not
mean?
at all.
And
Not
on
at
the
all.
same weekend that my father was put in the Hall of Fame, I mean, is there anything bigger than that? There's just not, as a referee, in my opinion, as a referee. That was huge. I know I've talked about this too, being a part of Big Show versus Undertaker on Undertaker's the Last Ride tour in England, all of the UK. And we went for 2 weeks. We went all over the United Kingdom, and to be in London's O2 Arena and hear the pop and feet, and then those two dudes just look. Big Show, the best, and look, there's going to be people that go, no, Andre. Well, number one, tell me how many matches of Andre's you actually witnessed, because look, I'm old. I witnessed a lot of them. But and when Andre was young, yes, but Big Show, I'm going to tell you right now, Paul White, the workingest big man in the history, the workingest giant, however you want to, whatever category you want to put him in, the workingest. I mean, I would tell him, dude, you're not Rey Mysterio. Quit trying to do that crap, because he would he would just do stuff that you go, oh my God, you forget how huge he is, and just a good dude too. But anyway, those matches were something that I was truly proud to be a part of. I was proud to be on the last 2 weeks. I had them every night, and it was so much fun and an honor. You know what I mean? Just an honor to be a part of. I'll tell you, one of the best feelings that I ever had as a referee was one of those beat the clock challenge matches, and or a one night on a 2-hour TV show, and it was these two guys come out and they wrestle the match, and then at the end of the match, how long was the match? 4 minutes and 52 seconds, whatever. And so then the next match comes out, and they wrestle, and the deal, if it goes past 4:52, well, match is over. They didn't beat the clock or whatever, something like that. And so then if the next person comes out and it goes 4 minutes and 50 seconds, well, they beat the clock. So now the winner of that match is the guy that's going to end up getting the shot at the end, whatever it was. And so it ends up being Triple H, and I cannot remember who his opponent was. But we get down to, like 6 seconds left, and he hits the pedigree, and I literally go 1, 2, 3, and the buzzer goes off, and he beat it by 1 second. And it was like, look, in wrestling, in television, for the viewers in the audience, for the viewers at home watching, it was such a cool moment for me personally, that I just stood up, I put one hand in there like we have a winner, and I pointed at Triple H, and he came up to his knees and looked at me and smiled and winked. And I felt like, wow, man, we literally took everybody. The job is literally to get in the ring and take people away from their everyday lives. Let them enjoy what we do. And it's our job to help them enjoy what we do. And I just remember standing up and at that moment in time in my head going, man, that felt great. That felt so good. And such a feeling of job satisfaction. And then walk into the back and, seeing other referees come to me and go, oh my God, man, how did that? I can't believe that happened. 1 second left. It was, look, every time you walk out of the ring, walk to the ring, in your head, you're going, well, in a perfect world, this will go perfect. And that never happens. And the reason it never happens is because of the human factor. Anytime if you do it personally, all by yourself, you can get it perfect. But if you involve me, another dude, and we're all three in there, and you got a time clock, that night, it was a perfect world. And I don't have many of those I can say about my 39 plus years in the business. But that night, it was a perfect world. So as a referee, that job satisfaction that night, I remember it vividly. And so that was another very cool. Again, Mike, I know I'm naming off a bunch of different things, but there's so many things that were really cool moments, and so many things that I was proud to be a part of, all the way to being approached by the writers and say, we're going to write you off of television, and because as I was still being a referee, I was being trained to be a producer at the time. And so they wrote me off of television so that I could be full-time producer, and not because as a producer, you got to have nothing but the giant W on your mind. You can't, they didn't want me worrying about going to the ring for 22 minutes or doing pay-per-view, refereeing. And so to be written into a storyline over a number of weeks, to be written off TV, what an honor. As a referee, it's a huge honor, because you just don't see that happen. And a lot of fun. Daniel Bryan, man, one of the, him against Daniel Bryan versus Randy Orton pay-per-view. I know I've told that story too, to look at, I would always show the title, put it up, and then walk over to each individual, usually the champion. Are you ready? Yep. And then go to the challenger. Are you ready? And I go to Daniel Bryan, and he looks at me and says, I'm the luckiest guy in the world. And if the camera, my back was to the camera, and I was so thankful, because I couldn't do anything but smile so big and go, dude, we both are. Ring the bell. And here we were off and running. And that moment in time is another thing that I just go, man, how cool is that? A dude that loves the business as much as I do, Daniel Bryan. You know what I mean? And look, I know if any of the boys are listening to this, they're going, man, Scott is such a mark. Okay, I'm a mark. You win. I don't care. I'm too old to care what you think. You know what I mean? I love this stuff, man. And look, if you're listening to this podcast, you must love wrestling too. And I appreciate you very much.
Me too. Trust me.
Yeah,
Me
right.
too. Hey, listen, man, I remember watching that match vividly, the Daniel Bryan Randy Orton match. And that was, Daniel Bryan can go, Randy Orton can go.
Yes.
Both of those guys, undeniably some of the greatest of all time in-ring competitors I've ever seen in my lifetime.
I totally wholeheartedly agree. Look, they said, look, when Daniel Bryan first came in, the scuttlebutt in the back was, he'll never get over, he's too small. And he literally proved to the world that heart and determination and just in-ring performance, man. It's like that dude got better every day. Randy Orton, third generation. I literally watched his grandfather. I watched and wrestled his father, and I have refereed Randy. And to be able to see Randy's in-ring performances, dude, that guy has zero wasted motion. Everything he does in the ring means something. And look, there's not a lot of guys in 2022 you can say that about, and it's just that simple. There's a whole lot of triple flips and finishes that guys hop right back up from, and you go, oh wait, don't throw that away, man. That, listen, if you're watching at home, how can you know what it's like to take a suplex from the top rope?
Yeah,
you can't know that. I can tell you personally, it hurts. So to see a guy go 1, 2, kick out, in the very next move, he's reversing and shooting, and then he goes to the top rope, and you just go, wow, man, that how does that translate? That none of it hurts? Because it does. It just does.
It hurts. I
It
can
hurts.
attest to it. I've never taken one off the top rope, but I took that one bump, and I was like, oh,
Yeah,
maybe,
right.
maybe
Well,
this isn't
right.
for me.
And you see somebody slip on the water in the grocery store and fall down. They're getting in an ambulance and going to the doctor and chiropractic. Half the time it's just to get the lawsuit out of the deal, but sometimes they really get hurt. They're going, and you just go, wow, man. So that hurts. You know what I mean? I don't know. We live in a different time. Again, I'm not bashing that at all. I do love to see the triple flips. I do love to see the huge bumps. I'm just saying, sell.
build the story in the ring.
Yes. Yeah, I'm telling you, if I don't have time to punch the buddy I took to the wrestling show with me and hit him in the ribs, you go, oh my God, did you see that? If I don't have time to say that to him because they're jumping up and running, isn't that wasted motion?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Aren't you just wasting motion? Oh, come on, man. Anyway.
Yeah.
I digress.
But speaking of how times have changed, I got another great question from one of our listeners, Chris Wright, regular listener. Love that dude.
Thank you, Chris.
Yep.
Appreciate you.
He said, he asked, what are your thoughts on WWE going towards looking for new talent at universities versus the indie guys?
So great question. I mean, truly, truly good question. But here's the kicker. WWE still looks at the indie shows. They still do that. They look, I go to these indie shows. My brother is back with WWE. I text him after an indie show and say, hey, dude, so I'm not an agent for WWE. I don't, but I'm just saying there is a network and WWE is doing their own. They have guys that go to these indie shows. It's not being put out there. They're not saying, oh, here's John Jones and he's going to go to this indie show and he's going to look for talent and he's going to go in the locker room and he's going to, no, man, that guy will just show up and he'll watch wrestling. He'll pay for a ticket and he'll watch wrestling. And if there's a standout, they report back. And look, in this day and time, you almost don't even have to do that. You can just go on YouTube or Twitter and type in wrestling and you will see how many indie shows, you know what I mean? And you'll see matches. And there was just an example. This week, I'm on Twitter. I see a tag team, and I think they were from WoW. I'm not sure. I think they're called Miami Heat, and I may be wrong. And I don't remember the two young ladies' names. But they're a tag team, and I thought, and they have the gear that complements each other, the matching colors, and we're doing tag team moves, and I thought, wow, man, that I mean, in Scott's opinion, look, and my opinion means nothing. It's just an opinion like every other opinion in the world. I do not work for any wrestling organization on the day of this podcast. So I'm saying I think they could, go to NXT, get a tryout, they do something. And that's just me noticing them on Twitter. I have no idea who they are in the world. Never met them, don't know anything about them. But when I saw their clip, I went, wow, man, that's a possible fit. They're working at WoW, I think is what it said. So it's easy to find talent that way. So they are not disregarding the indies.
Yeah.
But to the other point of looking at colleges, I will say this. No disrespect to anybody on the indies ever, because I love it. I do. A lot of times you get a top college athlete, and what are you guaranteed? An athlete. First and foremost, an athlete. Someone whose body was trained to absorb punishment, a mentality to go hard, give 100%, and still want to learn and be coached. And when you get somebody like that, does that, and you go to the performance center and you've got how many coaches and how many rings, and on top of that, Fit Finley, Terry Taylor, you know what I mean? Robbie Brooks, you got Norman Smiley, you got guys that will teach the basic fundamentals of our business and then take them to the next level. So you get a college athlete that has trained, since, look, my 4-year-old plays t-ball and soccer. You know what I mean? So you get that college athlete was once that 4-year-old kid playing sports, growing up. And so you get somebody with that mindset and that, come on, kill or be killed, put me in there, coach. You get that handed to you with no knowledge other than maybe watching wrestling. That's it. That's a step in the right direction. I don't care what anybody says. And look, I don't try to offend any indie show. I remember Regal was out, I don't even know how many years ago, looking for talent for WWE, and there was John Moxley, that became Dean Ambrose, and now is the standout for AEW. And Regal came back, and I'll never forget the conversation that I had with him. And he said, "Oh, there's a guy out there that takes it to a whole different level. His work, his promos, his character on camera." He said, "Man, I hope we can sign him." Well, we ended up signing him, and there you go. And that was on the indies. That came from no college. You know what I mean? That wasn't a college athlete. That's the indies. Look at Seth Rollins, one of the top names in the industry today, and indies. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
CM Punk, indies. So, you look at guys that can be stars, man. Look, and again, I'm a firm believer. These two girls, the Miami Heat, or I forget. I'm not sure it's Miami Heat, and I'm sorry. I probably shouldn't. I should probably look them up before I get off of here just telling lies. But I'm going to look it up right quick, Mike, while we're talking.
I'm trying to do my research now.
I see Wrestling Rob on there.
It's the Miami Sweet Heat, the Carlson twins.
Yes, that's them. And so, look, just seeing them, I don't know if those two ladies went to high school, college, graduated 2nd grade. I just know when I saw them on the clips that they put on Twitter, it got my attention. Yeah. And so that's what you look for, in my opinion, for the future of the industry. You know what I mean? You find if it jumped off the page to me, and I'm an old salty dog, with all those years, if it jumped off the page to me, I feel like, man, people might bite on that. It's like NXT right now has Pretty Deadly. I don't know if you've seen Pretty Deadly, but they're from Europe, and oh my dude, I watch them and go, wow, man, they're good. They're good. Yeah. They're gonna be stars. Yeah. Man, things like that get your attention.
Yep.
And you just, wow. We are in a different time, and you look, I'm 61 years old. I don't pretend to know what somebody your age, Mike, you're 28. I don't pretend to know what you look at on TV and go, oh, hell yeah, that's awesome, man. I love seeing that. And a lot of times my son's same age as you, and I'll ask him, hey, dude, what do you think about that? What do you see? And he'll go, oh, yeah, it was good. And I'll go, no, you don't understand. You don't help me with my knowledge of my own industry. I have a perceived way that I did things for a long time. My family, my dad, WWE, the whole 9 yards. I have a perceived way of that. I need to know what fresh eyes see,
Yeah.
young eyes. What do you see? Because you tell me what you see, it doesn't hurt my feelings. It only makes me see things in your light to make the industry better. If a young dude at a show comes to me and goes, hey, can you watch my match? Can you tell me what you see that I'm doing wrong, or what can I do to make it better? When I hear that, I just think, oh man, thank you for asking me. Yes, I will watch your match, and yes, you and I will have a conversation afterwards, and I'll tell you what I saw.
Yeah.
Give you, and look, most people, I mean, I've had a few dudes that you tell them, hey, look, so in that one spot, you should do that. And you see their face just cop an attitude. And you go, and in my mind, I'm thinking, hey, dude, you asked me. Don't get mad that I'm being honest with you. But so I try to give them the positive and the negative, because if I just give them the positive, it does not make them better. If somebody always tells you, oh, you did so good, oh, way to go, great, that doesn't make you better. If you point out, well, you rushed this and you need to do, look, it may hurt their feelings, but we're all adults. We're going to get over it. You know what I mean? Don't punch me in the nose and walk away. Explain to me what I did wrong. That's the way I feel anyway. Look, I'm going to get over it. You really pissed me off. I'm going to get over it. It's just simple as that. But tell me what I did to piss you off, so we can both learn from it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. I think WWE has had a long history of taking. It's just not now that they're going after college athletes. I mean, they have a history of. I mean, Big E, he came in. They made a star out of him.
Yeah, Kurt Angle.
Kurt Angle.
I mean, look, and to be a collegiate wrestler to then professional wrestler, people go, oh, they make the best ones. That's not true, man. That's the hardest transition for a collegiate wrestler. The ones that actually make it are true athletes, not just wrestlers. They're true athletes. And you think Jack Swagger or Jake Hager, that thinks his real name, and Kurt Angle, and it's a hard transition because you were trained in one way for your entire life, and now you're having to really reverse the role in a lot of ways to do this. And so, look, at the end of the day, all of it only benefits the wrestling fan.
Yeah.
That's the way I look at it. I think that WWE right now is on a mission of nothing but great things for. If you're a wrestling fan, it is a great time. And so with Triple H taking over and new storylines and new ideas and new talent coming in. I mean, Bray Wyatt coming in. Oh my gosh, that is like, that lit up the wrestling world for Extreme Rules. And so to
very
be
well produced segment too.
Yes, very well. And so to see him come in and make such an impact in the wrestling industry is like, wow, dude, that's Braun Strowman's back. I mean, look, Ronda Rousey won the women's title. I mean, so many great things happening in the industry today, and just a fun time to be a wrestling fan.
Yeah, I agree. It's a fun time to be a wrestling fan, and it's a great time to be an Armstrong Avenue fan.
Yes. Thanks for the episode, Mike. I know we're running out of time, but I really do. This has been fun. It's been
Yep.
a lot of fun, and I
I love
appreciate
every episode we do, man. I love when we get to just shoot the breeze and talk wrestling, talk about whatever.
it. Amen.
It's fun.
Amen.
It's fun to hear the stories from your perspective and your career.
Well, I appreciate it.
Because I'm just now starting my career in this business, doing what I do and on a different doing what my job is, and
Sure.
I'm getting to hit the road, meet people, and learn about it. And I want to learn all that I can. I'm trying to build my resume.
Dude, you never stop. I'm as old as I am. I never stop learning. That's why I said I want to see it through your eyes too, so I can keep learning.
Yep.
It's the
So-
best.
So hey, but we're gonna end it, man. We had a good hour-long episode. I
Yes,
hope
we
you
did.
guys enjoyed it. Remember, like, subscribe, download that IWN app. We have some amazing things coming. I'm producing this Lost Territory show. I know I talk about it because it was my kind of idea I created in my head. I went to Scott with it and the things we're doing. I'm so excited. We got the episode 1 dropping November 1st. We've got Main Event Wrestling from Georgia. We've got this podcast where this is the only place you can see us in person, the whole video. You can hear our voices. That's great. But come see us, see our reactions. It's awesome. Download the app. We're going to get out of here. Thank you, Bones. Thank you, Collar and Elbow. And thank you, Scott.
Thank you, brother. Thank
Sir.
you, listeners and viewers. Appreciate it.
Yep. We're out.